What is going on, everybody? Good to see you guys here today. Kyle here, and it is a fantastic Tuesday. I hope everybody had an amazing Thanksgiving last week and that you are getting back into the swing of things here today and, this week. And, obviously it's even for me, it's always tough whenever you got the holidays, you just want to enjoy. And then it's like, now I got to get back to, to the work. And so, but it's worth it, and definitely I love this time because we get to start business planning for 2023, which that's what we're going to be talking about here today. So I definitely am excited to hear some of your ideas and some of your focuses, what y'all are thinking about for next year. And, and if you've already even started to create your business plan, or if that's something that you are about to start doing here soon. But yeah, so before we kick off, I also have a special guest joining me. Blake is going to be jumping on the stream here pretty soon. So we'll have him come in and kind of share some ideas and some thoughts as well. But very cool. Well, let's go ahead and kick off with, I want to see who's on the call. So if you don't mind typing something into the chat, into the comments, I want to see who's jumping in, where you're coming from, all of that good stuff. And but today I want it to definitely be interactive. So if you've got questions, if you have thoughts, anything that you are wondering as far as, real estate for next year, and just some ideas that maybe you have in mind or things that you need some help with to implement, definitely put them in the comments, and we can talk a little bit more in detail about them. But I know for me, I'm going to kind of talk a little bit too about what's on my focus. Like, what am I looking at for next year? What do I want to start to make some headway on? And so that'll be kind of covering a little bit about that on the content side of things, and just, where I see some opportunities and good stuff like that. So, all right, let's see here. We've got, who do we have here? There we go. There we go. Veritas, thank you for putting this together for us. You bet. We've got Tanya coming in from Tucson, Arizona. Awesome. Welcome, Tanya. Oh, we've got Joy. Looking forward to your tips from St. Louis, Missouri. Nice. All right. Clemens, North Carolina. We got Paige. Nice to see you, Paige. Corey, Shady Shores, Texas. Awesome. Charisse, new licensed realtor from Jacksonville, Florida. Well, welcome. Glad you're on the call. Congrats on getting your license. Now the fun begins. What camera do you use? Good question. Out of body experience. I've got a Sony A7 IV is what I currently use. And I also have used in the past a Sony ZV-E10, which is this guy right here. So you can kind of see that right there. So I have both of them. They're both great for live streaming. I actually use one. I just have the ZV-E10 always kind of in vertical mode, so I can make shorts and kind of vertical video. And then I use my A7 IV, which is a little bit more expensive of a camera for my main camera for like my YouTube channel and creating course videos and all that kind of good stuff. So let's see. Just me. Hello from Maryland. Veritas is from Tampa, Florida. We've got Pam, Canton, Ohio. Good to see you, Pam. All right. Charisse is from the Philippines. Holy smokes. All right. You probably get the award for the furthest away. That's exciting. So what are you, Charisse, do you do real estate there? Do you support real estate agents? I'd be curious to hear about that. Donna from Las Vegas. Awesome. You could probably tell too that I've got a little bit of like a stuffy nose here. So that's why I sound a little bit funnier than usual. So out of body experience, LOL, they are pretty expensive. Yeah, they're not cheap. The ZV-E10 is a little bit less expensive. I think you can pick that up for like $700. Then getting a lens, you're going to probably want to spend some money. So you might be about $1,000 all in for a setup on that. The A7 IV though is probably going to be closer to $2,500, $3,000, something like that for a full setup with the body and the lens. Congratulations, that test is tough. All right. What test are you talking about, Tanya? Are you talking for the real estate test? I think she was talking about for Charisse, who just got her real estate license. So yep, Tanya is saying congrats, that test is tough. All right. Charisse is a virtual assistant for realtors and brokers. Well, glad to have you on the call, Charisse. And look at who we got here. Boosh.
What's up?
Oh, what's up, Blake? How are you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well, doing well. It's good to see you.
Yeah, you too, bud.
Just going through some of the comments, some people that are already on the call here so far. We've got a lot of people tuning in.
Dang, Jacksonville, Tampa, what's up? Las Vegas.
Nate is where are you coming from? Nate, I see. How you doing, Kyle? I'm doing great today. Nate, how are you doing today? Good to see you. We got Adam. What's up, Adam? Good to see you. All right. And there we go. Cherie says, thanks, Tanya. Cool. All right, guys. Well, we have got a lot of people tuning in on the stream here, and we got now Blake is here, so we definitely can start jumping into some content and talking a little bit about our topic today, which is all about business planning for 2023. But like I said earlier in the call, we want to interact with you. We want to hear, more than us just getting up here and, talking about our business plans and that type of thing. Share with us, some of the ideas that are going on in your mind, just so we can have some topics and kind of talk about them as well. And if you've got some questions on specific things that you're thinking about for 2023, feel free to throw those into the comments in the chat and we can kind of talk about those as well.
Absolutely. Like, let us help you guys fine tune a few of these things, right? So like, we don't want to just sit up here and talk about Kyle's goals and my goals, but like, let us help you guys as well and like bounce them off of us, and or like I might be stealing some ideas here, So
there you go. I've gotten some of the best ideas, like when I teach or if I, do anything like that. And, sometimes people bring up ideas. I'm like, I had never even thought of that. Then sure enough, you see it in my business, a couple.
Write it down. Yep.
Nate is from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Love it. Nice. Been following you since I started real estate a year ago. Awesome. Well,
nice.
Congrats. Hopefully you've had a good year, or you're learning. It's always tough. That first year is always tough, but hey, you got to keep pushing through, and eventually it does get a little bit easier. It's never easy. So for those that make it say, that you might think that it's easy or whatever, it's usually never easy, but it does get easier than the first year, in my opinion. Fernando, nice to see you, Kyle. All right, Bay Area, from Bay Area, California. Nice. Newfoundland, Canada, another one. All right, man, a lot of Canadians.
Newfoundland, all right.
Newfoundland, yeah, nice. All right. Well, very cool. Blake, have you ever been to Canada?
A few times, yeah. I actually played hockey, growing up, and like we went to some tournaments up there. So I've been up to Toronto. I've been up to Vancouver and played in some cool tournaments up there. So some cool things. I'll tell you what, one of my favorite things I fell in love with is ketchup chips. Oh my gosh, you can only get ketchup chips like in Canada for some reason. No idea why. You can get them at some like border states there too, but man, ketchup chips. Have you ever had those?
I have never had them. I'll have to check that out.
It tastes exactly what it sounds like. It tastes like a French fry dipped in ketchup already, and it's delicious.
We went to Vancouver, I guess, maybe 3 years ago now, and we had, was it poutine or I don't know if that was actually really good. Those French fries with all the stuff
with gravy on it. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yep. Awesome. Very cool. All right. Well, I still Nate says ketchup chips are the best.
That's right, Nate.
He knows. All right. Nate also has done 8 deals so far. It says it's very scary. My broker told me the first year is the hardest, so I hope that's true. Yep, it sure is. But hey, 8 deals, man. That's good. That's solid.
Awesome, man.
Nice.
Congratulations.
All right, Christina, fellow. Hey, look at that. Nice.
Say town, what's up?
There we go. Good to see you on the stream. Very cool. So you get the award for the closest, maybe. We had someone from the Philippines who got the award for the furthest, and now we got closest. So all right. Well, good stuff. All right. Well, let's go ahead and kick things off. Real quick, kind of just talking just some general business ideas and business planning ideas to kind of get the juices flowing, Blake, for some of those that are watching. So maybe, we can get some people that want to share. But right now it's just us. So there's no comments for us to go through. So real quick, Blake, like what what are you thinking about for next year? Like what's kind of on your radar for your real estate business, in 2023?
Yeah, great question, man. I think really for me right now, it's all about pivoting to this market. So like finding different ways that I can stand out, be different, and be helpful to my clients, but also want to make sure that I'm not pushing people to do things that are like maybe not in their best interests. Like I've got a client I'm working with right now, and they're debating on, do we list right now or do we wait till after the holidays, right? But of course, every realtor wants a new listing coming on soon, but I don't want to push people to do something that might be not advantageous for them. So, I'm just really trying to stand out, be different, and I'm focusing on a lot of guidance and education and coaching. So, I'm really focusing on what I can do differently with this changing market and how I can kind of stay. If in front of it is the goal, but like if you can at least stay up with it, I think you're doing yourself a solid favor. So, what about
Yeah.
for you,
Well,
man?
yeah, well, that's actually, I mean, that's a pretty, good topic, just maybe for debate on another time, not even debate, but just to share with people. But I think what I'm seeing, at least a lot in, the different Facebook groups that I'm a part of, is like almost like, different camps of realtors that like, especially with like the interest rate kind of thing going on right now, like where some people are like, the whole, date the rate or whatever, marry the house, date
Yeah,
the rate. And then people like get up in arms like, oh my gosh, like that's terrible advice and this, and like, you gotta, and so it's like almost like the interest rates are like creating a divide of people that like feel like, well, you need to educate properly and you got to like set the right expectations, and then other people that are like, and so like what you just said about like how you feel like you need to share good information, like, that's not biased about like, I just need to get this business.
yeah,
And like that is, I think, a pretty thing that's going on right now. So I mean, it's pretty relevant. But I think,
exactly.
yeah, I mean, I think when
I
you
heard somebody say like buyers think that it's like 2008 right now, and sellers think that it's 2020. But like, where do we find the happy medium? And you can't, you have to really push yourself to make sure you're staying in those ethical boundaries to not say like, hey, right now is the best time to sell. Let's get your property on the market right now, and then like it sit for 3 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, and this is just my thought, and, it definitely is in alignment with what you just said. I think as a real estate agent, the best thing that you can do is be as transparent and honest with people as possible. Right. And so like
100%.
explaining out different options, because here's the cool thing about real estate is that people have to have a place to live. So like whether think it's a great time to buy or not, or whatever, people are going to have different motivations to do things regardless. And so if you're honest and transparent and people like what you have to say, they're, the ones that are going to do business are going to do business with you, versus like feeling like you have to sell people on doing things that's not in their best interest or whatever. Right. So like,
Absolutely.
like that's the cool thing is like, yeah, I mean, obviously it's a different time right now. It is an interesting time. It's challenging as far as like, what the messaging should be and how you should, still be able to get business. But I think like, one guy who I actually respect, I don't even know him. I just, personally or anything, I just watch a lot of his stuff, and I'm sure a lot of agents also know who he is, but Javier Vidania, he's got a really great real estate YouTube channel. And he, and I like his style. Like, honestly, like, he kind of has like that, almost like a little bit like that nerdy vibe, right? It's all like video game stuff and whatever, like, kind of like, emojis that he puts up there, and, but he keeps it fun.
Yeah,
But what I like about him is that he's just transparent. Like, he just like explains things for how it is in the real estate market. And, and he explains options like, hey, this is what it's going to be like if you do this right now. And this is what it might be like if, if things were different. And, and you got to be the one to decide if that's right for you. And I think as real estate agents, if we start like focusing that as our message and like trying to educate versus sell,
yeah,
I think that's where things are going. I mean, it's almost like that soft sell, right? Like by
absolutely.
just
Yeah,
educating, you're going to attract the people that need to buy and sell anyways, and they're going to want to do business with you. So I think
oh
that's
yeah.
got to be like where we wrap our minds around for the upcoming year,
Like
and get
like
to.
you said, authenticity is gonna pay out at the end, and, like, I'm gonna double down on you because, like, you introduced me to this person, and I started following him, and I was like it blew my mind, right? But, somebody who I think is, like, crazy authentic and, like, does an insane amount of business is, Justin Mercer.
Oh yeah.
So if you don't know who Justin Mercer is, just go ahead and Google like the tattoo realtor.
Yeah.
Right. And like you told me to follow him, and I was like, yeah, he looks cool. And then I started looking at some of his marketing, his advertising. It is wild, and it is so fun. It's so funny, and it like totally hits home with a lot of people. But if you don't know him, go Google him, and you'll be surprised, like maybe his appearance in comparison to his amount of wild success, because he's so authentic and genuine. People want to work with him.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. And you attract your, your tribe. So like, that's his style, and he's going to attract, the people that want to work with his style. He may not attract everybody, but that's totally fine.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so I think that, the biggest thing is that you are who you are. You're transparent. You really do want to educate and have the best interest of people at heart. You're not doing things for your own motives. Obviously there are motives that you have, and like even for myself, like that's just how my approach is for what I do. For real estate agents, it's like, yeah, I have an end goal and an end motivation that I need to create a business and make this thing run, and money helps it run. And so like, there's ways that I want to monetize and do things, but that's not my focus. My focus is like, how do I help agents, every single day? Like, what's my, like, when I wake up, I'm like, all right, what do I got to do today to further my goal of helping agents?
Yeah.
And like, how can I be more creative to that end?
Exactly.
And but that, and then, by the end of it all, it ends up working out to my benefit. And so it's the same thing for agents. You got to wake up and think the same thing. Like, how do I help buyers and sellers today? Like, what do they need to know? Like, what have I not created yet that I could create that would help one more buyer today, or like help somebody who may be, in need or whatever, who doesn't know how to do something. If you think of that kind of stuff, the business will come. And so,
Yeah.
all right. So
I
yeah,
see a lot of people making some comments over
Yep.
here. And before we like kind of get into some of those, I want to ask, maybe since we have so many people in so many different locations, like what are all of you doing in your respected markets that you're finding some success with right now? Or what are you starting to do where you're starting to scrape the surface as we're making changes and goal planning for 2023? Just because I see a lot of people saying like these are some of the difficulties you're trying to overcome. Like I'd be curious as to hear what some other people are doing, so that way we can make this kind of an open dialogue with some of the people who are tuning in.
Perfect. Yep, I agree. I just noticed too. Yeah, I don't know who noticed this so far, but like I've been making a huge, like the last like 2, 3, 4 weeks, been like rebranding. Maybe y'all have seen this, right? And I'm like completely dropping the orange. I know you, Blake, you've probably seen that, right? And literally on this call, I'm like, the one thing I have not changed is my StreamYard setup. I need to like change all of this, right? So like all this orange is really bothering me right now. But
listen, I appreciate you, kind of pointing that out and calling that out about yourself, because I think number one, it shows your true person, your true self, your authenticity, and you're being genuine, but you're being vulnerable right now. So like listen, like Kyle is a good friend of mine, and Kyle is a mentor of mine and someone who I look up to, but like he's putting himself out here right now to say, I'm making changes, and one of them is rebranding to this lovely blue color that he's got back there.
That's right.
You
yeah,
do
everything.
blue, so like,
yeah, dude, I've been so happy with it. Here's one thing too, and this is maybe a little tangent, but maybe this helps people. Maybe they want to rebrand for next year. Maybe they don't have a established brand yet, and they want to like just brand for the first time really next year. And so one of the things that I'll say is I've been building a brand for probably the last like 3, 4 years that like wasn't me. Like I was like, I like created this brand, colors and stuff based on just like, well, like this is the company I'm with, like, yeah, I'm going to try and tie into that. And it was like kind of inauthentic, right? It wasn't like it didn't speak to me. Like I wear hats. I don't wear a suit. I wear black pretty much all the time. And I like blue. That's like one of my other favorite colors other than black. Right. But like, I'm over here trying to do this stuff. And like, it just, for whatever reason, like I never felt like really cool, like, doing my branding stuff. Like I was always kind of like, I just never really leaned into it. I just kind of did it.
You didn't rep it. And now you feel like you can.
And now it's exciting. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I actually get excited when I create like a little piece of content and I get to see like the logo that I made like on there, like that I actually like wanted to make, and like with like the colors that I wanted to use. Like I'm excited for like my hat to come in and my shirt to come in. Like that has my stuff on it. I was like,
There you go.
Blake actually is the one that kind of spurred that off when we started Flight Academy, and he
Yep.
like made a hat, and I was like, dude, I've had a brand for 5 years and I don't even have a hat yet. And
I like gear, man. I
yeah,
like gear, and I know other people do too. So I mean,
yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's a good point though. Like if you're not happy with what you currently have, like make a change, do it now, and do it as we're launching into 2023. And like I'm reading some of these other comments and talking about how people are marketing themselves as a person, and like really growing themselves on social media. Like right there, is presence is key. Like I think having a brand or having something, a logo that you're really proud of and represent all the time, like then other people want to represent it. Like my brother, who actually lives in San Antonio, he literally texted me the other day and he said like, "Hey, can I get a few more of these hats?" And it was like my Aloha Charleston hat. And I was like, "Why do you need a few? What do you mean? Like, what are you doing with them?" And he's like, "Well, my friend wants one and I need another one because I lost it." So, but like people will want to wear them if they see you wearing them, and like again, kind of getting more of the authenticity out there. So I don't know,
yep.
make some changes, I think, is if you feel like you need a change.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's been, 3, 4 years. And so, I mean, it's always good to, relook at your branding and all that stuff. Or if, like I
So
said, if
true.
you're at a
I
spot
feel like
where
I need my hat now. I'm gonna grab my hat now. Ready? Feel
Blake's going to
jealous.
grab
I
his
feel
hat.
extra bold.
I love it. But yeah, no, I mean, so that's the, and then to that point though, too, I have one of the things that I have realized, even though I had a brand that I wasn't super, enthused about, I guess you could say, um, was that but is that it is important though to have a brand. So like figure out a brand that you like, even if it's not perfect, go with it, and then you can always change it, a few years down the road or 6 months down the road if you had to. But the idea is that you want to have something that like is recognizable, that people start to like see your efforts, because if you don't have any brand at all and things are just hodgepodge, it's hard for you to really scale and start to like get traction where people recognize. And that's how the real business and the real team leaders and the real big agents, they start to scale up, is they have a recognizable brand and they start to get business because of their brand. So there we go. Loving the hat. There we go. Like
There
it,
you
Blake.
go. I'm feeling
Speaking
in
of
now.
brand, Blake's got an amazing brand, Aloha Charleston, and his stuff is really, I mean, it's so unique that like if you see anything like that in the Charleston, you're gonna know who he is. Like that's what's so cool about it,
Thanks,
is
man.
that I really respect it.
I
I think
appreciate
it's
it.
really cool. I'm sure it helps you get some business, and it's more fun. You have a lot of fun with your brand.
And I think that's kind of one of my business plans, is like I want to have fun with it, right?
Yeah.
Would you mind going back to that one comment right there? I saw that and I
Which
had a
one? This
suggestion
one?
only because I
That
had a
one?
listing that was kind of doing something similar.
Yeah.
Tanya, if you're still on here, I hope you catch this message. But I would maybe suggest uh, if you're not getting a lot of traction there, I would maybe suggest like a broker open house. So I've seen a lot of success with people doing broker open houses.
Rocky
Rocky, what's up, man?
he was feeling a little left out, so he wanted
Hey,
to come say hi.
he needs a hat. I'll make sure I can get a small Aloha Charleston hat for him. Um, Maybe do like a broker open house, do it like in the middle of the week for like a lunch, and host a bunch of brokers in there. So that way you can get some more attention in different ways on the property. I've seen some success with that. And I've seen a lot of other fellow realtors here in Charleston doing a lot of the same things. So just wanted to maybe toss that out real quick while it's there. And
Yep.
then I saw somebody in there said, get the fast track and find a coach. Man, I
Yes,
could
I was gonna
not
pull up that
agree
one.
more with that.
That was why
Like
I was queuing that one up for you, because you just got a coach. Didn't you hear recently, Blake? And
I
I was
did,
gonna have you
yeah.
share about that experience.
I did, yeah. So I'm actually doing two things, right? So number one, I'm obtaining my coaching certification through Success Coaching, and so like that has been really incredible to learn and understand as like becoming a coach. And then I got a coach for myself to coach me on being a coach. Like I feel like we need like every time we say coach, you have to drink at this point. Like I couldn't agree more. Like getting a coach is like I at first I was when I first transitioned into real estate, I was like, I don't need a coach. Why do I need a coach? Like I had a coach in hockey growing up, but like I don't need a coach, right? But I feel like there's always great to have somebody there who's a mentor, someone to guide you, someone to really kind of push back on you, to hold you accountable, and to really give you that chance to kind of look and self-reflect, so that way you can achieve the goals that you want to hit. So I think that's like the biggest thing. So like Christina, I could not agree more. I'm sorry. Who said that? Who said that
Yeah,
about getting a coach?
Christina. Yep, Chris. She's still up on the screens. Christina
Okay.
S.
Yeah. So I should say to her answer a question, what do I think about it? I think if you're not getting yourself a real estate coach, like you are doing yourself a disservice. So like it is one of the first things that you should invest in because it'll help you grow your business and in ways that you couldn't imagine.
Yep, for sure. Real quick as a follow-up, Tanya had posted these, Blake, as far as like the open house. This week, another realtor called, picked my brain and placed a house, the street, same floor plan as mine for the same price, but it has a closet in the room that we have listed as a den. So there's a 4.2. I don't know about a broker open house. So she didn't know that. And then Nate actually says, Tanya, do a walkthrough video and post it on Instagram and Facebook, even do Facebook ads. Be sure to make sure the video is quality. Yep.
Quality and get some humor up in there. Humor sells, like find some funny things and do a Facebook walkthrough. So maybe we should explain what a broker open house is then.
Yeah. Let's talk about a broker open house.
Sure. I mean, I'm sure other people would have some great suggestions on things you can do, but so a broker open house is basically an open house that you are advertising to other realtors to come, other brokerages to come. Right. So like, I would say, I would have a broker open house between like 12 and 2 and say invite as many like realtors as I can to my listing, provide lunch, maybe provide some beverages, like make it like a casual kind of fun cocktail party. I've even seen some where they have like come get your headshot updated. Like I've got a photographer here at my open house, come get your headshot, grab some lunch and walk through my listing to see if you might have somebody who could fit it.
Dude, imagine doing like a little mastermind session at an open house. Like,
Dude,
you know what I mean? A broker,
great
like, do
idea.
like a little value for agents and then have them give you feedback on the listing, right? And maybe
that is an incredible idea.
Yeah.
I need my notepad right now. That's a great idea. Have like a mastermind at an open house. Come join the mastermind, check out the listing, and then if it's a beautiful listing, like all the realtors who come, like go grab some content, go grab some free content. Like take some pictures of the kitchen, the bathroom, the living room, the backyard, whatever, and like post it on. Like people want to see activity, they want that. So, Tanya, that's what a broker open house is. So like basically an open house for fellow realtors.
Yeah. And so the reason I had to get Rocky, I don't know if you heard him, like, I don't know how much my mic picks up, but he's like literally like jumping up against the sides of the things. That's why I'm like, I'm going to put him on. He was lonely in there. And a lot of people were messaging me, why do I have a bearded dragon or why do I have a lizard? It's actually my son's. And we all know how 6-year-olds take care of, animals after like the first week. And so he eventually became my bearded dragon. And now he's next to me in my office. So now I have a lizard with crickets all right next to my desk. And so Rocky was ready to say hi to everybody.
Heck yeah.
Camera.
So glad you're here, Rocky. Thanks for joining us and the feedback.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I was like freaking out. Like, what are you doing with the lizard?
Yeah. Man, I'm seeing some awesome comments in here. I'm like,
I know, I'm trying to
should we like wrap up our idea that we came in with like business planning? Cause I feel like I want to get into some of these, but I don't want to stray away from our main topic. Is there anything that you want to like make sure we get out in this message?
I mean, I think the biggest thing is like, well, number one, now is the time to start thinking about your business plan for 2023. Like, don't wait
100%.
until January. So like right now definitely is the time where you got to start putting some stuff down on paper. For me, it always starts with my goals. I kind of set up like where I want to be by the end of the year.
Bless you.
Bless me. So it starts there, but then as far as, from those goals, I then take that and I start to try and reverse engineer and figure out like, okay, well, realistically, how do I need to accomplish those goals and starting to put some like milestones into it. And so like, that's really how I go about business planning. But as far as, like what I wanted to cover or anything like that, like this is all kind of the stuff that I wanted to talk about was just like, like what are some ideas and things that people want to take advantage of.
But I think
business plan.
I think you probably said the most important thing is not only should you be doing it now, and if you're doing it now, to be honest, you're probably doing it a little late. Like you should be business planning in November, starting to make plans for transition in December, and then have it up and running January. So that way you can actually make changes versus being 2 months behind starting January. So like, I think the most important thing that we said in this call is write them down. Write them down, because they're not tangible. They're not real unless you see them, and then share them with a friend, significant other, a Facebook group. Write them in the comments here. Like, if you put them out there, you will hold yourself accountable, because now you know that other people see this goal. So like, you're going to want to hit it even more. So I think that's probably the most important thing that we've said in this call, so far. I say this video, so far, just because people need to know. You've got to write these things down, and you got to put them in front of you. You got to look at them every day and kind of ask yourself, like, am I making strides towards these, 1, 2, 3, 7, 17 goals that you have for this year? Like,
well, the biggest thing too, I think, is that, like, what I've found is that a lot of times, and you've heard the quote, like, people underestimate what they can do in a year and they overestimate what they can do in a day. It's so true. So like, when you're business planning, like, think big, like, think of some, don't like undersell yourself. Like, if there's things you want to do, whether it's starting a YouTube channel, like, put the big things onto your business plan that you want to do. And, and then, like I say, try and reverse engineer it, figure out how you can actually make it happen. But, also think about financials. I think that's a big thing when it comes to business planning. Like, where are you going to spend your money? Because, like, where you spend your money is going to, really dictate what you do, in your business. And so, like, if you want to get a coach, you got to budget for that. Like, if you say you want a coach, but then you don't actually think, like, well, how am I going to, get the money to get a coach? You won't get a coach, right? Like, but if you budgeted it out and you said, hey, this is what's going to happen, I'm going to do this and that, and you've already thought about the money side of it, that's the important thing. So think about budgets, goals, all that kind of stuff that needs to go in your business plan. All these ideas that we're going to talk about here next, and kind of like talking through some of these different things that, people have as questions and suggestions. These are all things that, you should be thinking about, but it doesn't mean you have to do every single one of them. Do what's in your, that you think is good for you and your business and your brand. But don't think like, oh, I've got to do everything, but
pick a few and expand your horizons, your education, invest in yourself.
Yep. Real quick. Aqua Fitness says digital versus traditional business cards. Thoughts? I have both. I think it's, you need to have maybe both in this day and age.
I agree.
It's so easy to make business cards. And so
it is so easy. And like, here's the thing about, I love digital business cards, especially when you're at like a real estate conference, because you can network really easily. You just like, here's your phone, scan the QR code, you trade it back and forth. It works awesome. However, when I'm at a coffee shop and I bump into a client who's randomly just like a person who's talking about searching for a home, and then we start a conversation, I can't just like drop my card and leave it if it's digital. So I think having both is really the best for both worlds right now, especially. And I'll take this for another way. Like just yesterday, I started talking with a new lead, and she happens to be someone who's, like elderly, and like she asked me for my business card. She asked me like for it, like physically. So I handed it to her. So I think being able to do that, to cross generational gaps, I think is really important as well.
Yeah. Christina says, how'd you come up with your branding? You want to hear a funny story, Christina? I'll share it with you how I came up with my branding. I was actually texting back and forth with a friend of mine, Jamie Tulak, and I was like, man, I'm not happy with my brand. I'm going to do some research on this, see like what I should be doing here. And let me share my screen here. Let's see, present.
Oh boy, I know what's coming.
You know what's coming, right?
This is good.
I pull up.
Get ready, people.
Yeah, I pull up like this little deal here, and I'm like, all right, these are the colors.
Make that full screen, because it's easier for us to see if it's the Windows full screen.
I think I got it. Like,
there you go. There you go.
Let's see. Here we go.
Yeah.
There we go. All right. So, these were, like a study that somebody did about like, colors that people like the most, for branding specifically, and blue. And I've always liked blue. And I was like, man, blue is a universal favorite. Both men and women like blue. I was like, that sounds pretty darn good. And blue was half of my colors. I had blue and orange. And, but then I saw, orange is not as good. And I was like, that initially didn't make me, immediately be like, oh, I got to drop the orange, because this is, again, just what people like. Well, then I pulled up the next little image on this same deal. It was kind of funny because they had another one. So not only what do people like, but then they had one of what do people dislike.
Dislike.
And I was like, Oh shoot, I didn't realize orange like has such like it's so universally disliked. Like nobody likes the color orange.
Hang on,
No one's for it.
people actually like brown
Yeah,
more
I
than they
know.
like orange.
That's exactly it. I was like, how do people dislike brown more than they, or less than orange? And I was like,
Yeah,
all right, that's it. I'm dropping the orange, getting rid of that.
yeah,
And so yeah, so that's how it became blue, all blue, all blue, and then some black and white is pretty much it, right? So it's mostly
yeah.
black and white with blue as my accent color. So
Yeah.
that's how
But
I came up with
but
it.
as far as, like, your branding, though, I
Yep.
think your branding, like,
Yeah.
that's how you color, you pick the
Right.
color, but I
I,
think,
I
you
started
know,
there.
you
Yeah.
really kind of came back to, like, the authenticity factor, and, like, I think just to answer Christina's question, like, you gotta really brand yourself around you, and you have to make it very authentic to who you are. Because like, if I were to brand myself as, like, this tuxedo wearing luxury agent, like, it wouldn't be right, like, I branded myself around me and who I am because I want to remain authentic 100% of the time. And just me knowing Kyle, that's exactly what he's done, is just kind of falling back into his authenticity and wanting to do it 100% of the time. So
Yeah.
I just answered a question about you for you, Kyle. Sorry.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, some of the tools, the actual physical tools that I've used, and I actually used this time around as well, is a tool called coolers.co. So if you pick
Yeah,
up, if you go over to
that was a really neat one too.
coolers,
Coolers.
coolers.co, right? And you say start the generator. And so it has a bunch of colors. You can just hit space and then it'll like keep generating different ones. But then as you start to like figure out, like hone in on the colors that you like, right? Like,
Yeah.
now I've got my hex codes of the colors that I like, right? So
Yeah.
I can
Save
kind of
your hex
come in
codes.
here. Yep.
If you
I can
don't know
put
what hex
that.
code is, Google it.
Yeah. Yeah. Hex code is just like an actual physical number to represent a color. And I knew that like my gray, like I
Yeah.
liked that one. And then I had white, which was this one. Right. And then you can lock these in. So I was like, all right, I'm solid on these colors. And then you can even remove, like if I wanted to just do 4 colors, which is what I have. And then you can just, so these are locked, this one's not locked. You can just hit space and then that'll just change that color. Like, ooh, I like, the way this looks with all of those, or maybe I don't, right? And so like, that's kind of how I went across and came across the specific blue that I wanted once I had it, right? And so you can actually even see, like, I think I texted Jamie a couple times. I was like, what do you think? Go back. Actually, it'd probably take a while to see where I was, but I was like texting her, like, do you like this blue? You like that blue? Right. So, okay, here we go. Yeah, here we go. Like, do you like that one, that one, that one? Oh, nope, that's the one. Right. So having somebody you can bounce ideas off of, that's the other point of this story, I think is important, because like for me, like, like I want to get different perspectives. And I also, threw it by my wife. I was like, what do you think about this blue? What do you think about that one? Right. And so when both people lined up and, they agreed and I liked that one too, that kind of helped me land on the color. But there's another one too, fontjoy.com.
That was really cool. I had no idea about Font Joy, but that really kind of
Yeah.
surprised
It's
me.
kind of the same thing where like, you hit space or generate here, right? And it's going to give you different pairings. And when you're like, ooh, like I like that header with
Yeah.
this subheader and then this kind of a text, you can do that. And so like if I wanted like,
Like, you
let's say
like
it's
that
like,
top one, you
yeah,
can
like, well,
lock
maybe I
that one
love
in.
that one. I can lock this one in and then I can just generate different bottom ones until
That
like I find
similar
one
but
that,
different. Yeah.
yeah. And then you can
But
either
this
also,
is like a business planning little mini clinic we
it
just
is.
jumped into here.
Oh yeah.
But like, one thing you're not saying is like, what you guys should be doing is, if you guys find hex codes and fonts and things like that, open a Google document and start storing this information. And
Yeah.
when you
Those
guys are
all right
putting
here.
things out on Canva or like
They
in
can't
different
see it.
places, make sure that the colors are the same hex codes, the fonts are the same fonts, and you guys are using this same thing, and just have a place where you store all that information. Like Kyle does it in his
Yep.
notes. I do mine in my Google Drive, but like, write this stuff down.
Yep.
Stay
For
on
sure.
brand.
Yep. All right. Let's see. David Gonzalez.
Nice. I
Been
like that
watching.
these comments are kind of just leading this. This is awesome.
Yeah, you guys rock launching your real estate business this year. Oh, nice. Congrats.
Way
Looking
to go.
keep it up. Yep. There we
Heck
go.
yeah,
Let's see.
man.
Tanya, it's a great idea. That's a great idea. Oh, this was from your headshots
Oh
idea.
yeah.
Great idea on the headshots. Very cool.
Take it, Nate. Use it. Let me know how it works, man.
Sunshine and Callahan, I like the channel name, says, I am launching my channel this January. Super excited about this avenue and would love your take on goals. First, second, third, fourth quarter. Interesting. Yeah. So when it comes to launching a YouTube channel, which I will assume we're maybe talking like a real estate agent YouTube channel, the number one thing, the first thing is that when you set a goal, you set it around some type of a consistency aspect for YouTube. So like, what I like to do when I focus, I mean, yes, it is important to have goals, but I also, like to have, lead measures. So I always look at things like lag measures and lead measures. Lead measures are things that you can control, right? Like it's like your inputs. Lag measures are like things that like you still want to pay attention to, like subscriber count, views, things that show that you're doing, a good job, but like you can't directly control those, right? But you can directly control how much content you produce or whatever. And so I think, in the beginning, when you're launching a YouTube channel, it's, the main thing you've got to just focus on is how consistent can you be with creating those videos. And so like having a publishing schedule, whether it's once a week, whether it's 3 times a week, whether it's once every 2 weeks, whatever that might mean for you. But like your goals, I think even, quotas 1, 2, 3, and 4, a big goal should definitely be just like how consistent you're going to be creating your content. And so, realistically, like just saying like how many subscribers you should have at each quarter, that's almost, it's impossible to say that. I mean, there's, all sorts of different things. But what I will tell you, it's kind of like real estate. Your first year is always going to be the toughest. You're going to put a lot of work into, creating a YouTube channel, and you're not going to get a ton of results right away. Now, obviously, the faster you go and the better quality content you create, you can expedite it a bit. But at the end of the day, you're going to put the most amount of work in the beginning and get the least amount of results. That's just how it is. It's kind of the same thing as as real estate. And so just know that going in. But realistically, I mean, throwing out just like a number, like, can you get your first 1,000 subscribers in the first year? Maybe, that'd be a good number. But at the same time, there's some that do more, and then there's a lot that do less. So like, just throwing out a random number, it might be fun to do, but I think what's more impactful for this particular aspect that you're talking about is setting some goals for how much content you produce, and then maybe setting some goals for like quality, right? Like, getting there and saying like, maybe if you don't have the right equipment right away, like maybe by the second quarter, I want to have my studio set up and I want to make sure the quality is on par. I want to have my new mic by then, or I want to have my new camera by then. Those are things that you can control, and you can save money for, or whatever you need to do for that. But I think really in the beginning, it's just about, creating your content, branding it consistently, making sure your thumbnails are solid, making sure that your headlines, your titles are solid. And then you are also, trying to get better on the video quality as you can. And of course the audio quality, but that's not even the most important thing, to be quite honest with you. So yeah, so hopefully that helps, Sunshine and Callahan. Let's see, working on your commercial CRE channel for Florida. Nice. Nate says vision boards. Blake, you want to talk about a little bit about the vision board side of things?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think Nate, like, if you're still on the call, man, I hope that you are. Like, you're on the right track, man. Vision boards are how you project what it is that you're going to be doing, and very much so like goals, like writing goals down. This is just a visual representation of your goals, right? So like when you have vision boards, you create this like subconscious idea planting in your soul, your heart, your mind, like of being able to achieve these things. So I think setting up a vision board for 2023 is awesome. So like I see that you've been super consistent on like the call. So like, man, drop a few things that are on your vision board. And if you guys are on this call and you have a vision board, drop a few things in there. And like, I will be vulnerable like Kyle did as well. I'm going to share some of mine. Like my wife and I are flipping a house right now. Like on my vision board right now is to finish flipping this house so that we can eventually sell our house and move into this house. And it's been a big goal for us. So it's taken some time. So I've got this picture of the house when we moved in. It's all kind of dilapidated and was filled with mold. So I wanted to have like the old version on it. And then I have on mine a splice down the middle of what it's supposed to look like when it's done. So it's like, there's the old and there's the new. It's like, that's one thing on my vision board. And you know, like I have personal things and I have like business professional things on there. I have like my sales goals. I have, you know, I have some Disney things on there because like I've got 4 kids and we go to Disney a lot. You're welcome, Disney. We spend a lot of money there. But like, you make these vision boards, you know, like it's only going to make you better to be more focused on what it is. And like, if you're a visual learner, vision boards are probably the best thing for you versus like writing, you know, maybe in a more traditional sense, writing your goals down, like 2023 goals, you know, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like for me, I'm a visual learner. So like I thoroughly enjoy vision boards.
I love it. Yeah, and I love the suggestion here: digital vision board as your background on your phone and laptop.
Oh, that's good. Bless you.
Thank you. Jeez. Yeah, that was a good one as well. And so, like, as far as having a vision board, I know now one thing I would definitely need to add to mine, Blake, is my vacation to your new house once it's all remodeled and good to go.
I've got a room ready to go for you.
No, I can't. I've seen, like I said, I've seen his stuff. He's taken me FaceTime through his house, and man, it's amazing. It's so cool what you guys are putting together there. And so,
thanks, man.
It's gonna.
We're about to start like putting it out publicly. So like,
yeah,
my wife and I are about to start making some reels on like, you know, the transitions from like here it was before, and now we're in the middle phase where it's completely torn apart. So we're about to like sharing it with all of our frustrations that we've had with taking on a renovation and 4 kids, you know.
Yep.
So,
All
so
right,
thanks, man.
let's see here. Gary and Linda, what you service are you using for streaming is StreamYard. Using StreamYard. It is very not too expensive. I don't even know if I'm make $20 a month, $19, something like that. But it's pretty solid. Speaking of which, Blake, did you have any solid Black Friday / Cyber Monday purchases? Did you get anything exciting over the weekend?
Well, you know, this was a great segue because now you know about my renovation. We purchased a kitchen vanity.
Okay.
Kitchen vanity, a bathroom vanity.
Okay.
For the new house, and so we're waiting on it to obviously come in. But yeah, we've been waiting for this one, so we got a bathroom vanity. Pretty sweet. I know that's like super adult of me to be like, bathroom vanity, what's up?
I love it. I went, kind of, I don't want to say anti Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but like I did kind of the opposite. I sold a bunch of stuff for I put it up on eBay, like a bunch of like old like equipment stuff. Not I say old, like I change out, a lot of technology stuff pretty frequently. So I'm constantly having to sell and donate some stuff. But
Sure.
so like old laptop, old phone, all this stuff where I'm like putting up on and for sale. But the things that I did buy, I actually got pretty excited about. Took advantage of a lot of different Black Friday specials on like software, like for not just specifically agents, but things that I want to use in my business. And so there is a thing called AppSumo. Have you ever heard of AppSumo, Blake?
No, I have not.
It's gonna change your life, man.
So everybody get your pins out. Here we go.
Yeah. So, I test a lot of technology, and there's some technology you just can't get around paying for like a monthly or like an annual subscription, but I hate being charged like monthly and annual subscriptions because you just end up spending so much money. And the cool thing about AppSumo is that all of their things on there you purchase and you like, it's like a lifetime deal. You own it for the lifetime, right? So like, and a lot of the apps in AppSumo replace a lot of things that you might be already using, right? So like, I'll give you an example. Let's say that you were using a calendar service like Calendly to schedule events and all this type of stuff. Well, if you get on the paid version of Calendly, it's like $9 a month. Not a huge deal, but at the same time, it's $9 a month in perpetuity. And if they choose to increase their prices, you got to, pay whatever it is, right? And whereas like I think I bought an app on AppSumo called TidyCal. It was like $39 or $29. And I own it now for lifetime, right? I don't have to pay ever, a subscription again. That's just one example.
That's cool.
There were a bunch of here. I'm gonna pull up my AppSumo and go through and look at some of the ones that I bought. Give you some ideas and examples. I know this is a little off topic, but maybe this will help somebody. Let's see here. So yeah, TidyCal, send Spark. So for like anybody who uses Loom, which Blake, I was going to tell you about Loom because you said you're using Zoom right now to record like screen recordings of
I
yourself.
am, yeah. Yeah.
So if you ever see people, they have like the little like ball in the bottom corner and it's like they're, you know, doing that type of thing. Chances are they're using Loom, which is a good service. Same thing. You got to pay monthly or whatever for it if you're recording, you know, more than a couple of videos a month. Well, there's one called SendSpark that, again, I think I paid like $68 for this one, but I own it for the lifetime. It does pretty much the exact same thing as Loom does, which is awesome. Pixel 2, pxl.to, is like one where I can rebrand all my links. So, you know, instead of having like super ugly links that you're always sharing with people that are like long or whatever, if you want to make like nicer links, like all my links, like whenever I have like a product or something that I want to send to somebody or like a buyer presentation, you know, instead of sending them like, you know, something zoom.us/this, that, and all
It's
these
similar to
letters.
like a bit.ly then.
Yeah, it's like a bit.ly. It's exactly like, I mean, that's what its competitor is bit.ly. And so, but it's pixel.to, but bit.ly you pay monthly.
Yeah.
Pixel.to, you buy it one time and you own it, right?
Oh man.
And so, yeah, so all of these things, Happy Scribe, I got that one. That one transcribes videos up to 2 hours a month of video transcriptions. So again, usually you're going to pay a service to like transcribe video for you, to like be able to put like captions and subtitles and all that kind of stuff. But Happy Scribe, it was one-time payment. Now I own this and I can subscribe, or I can transcribe 2 hours of video every month in perpetuity. So things like that, you know, that's what AppSumo is for. So if you want to go check that out, definitely go do it. I think that's a pretty cool thing. That's what I bought for Black Friday. So I know it's super nerdy. I know that was not the most exciting thing in the world.
I bought a vanity.
Yeah. Yeah, you bought.
I bought a vanity. Okay.
That's true. That's true. What else
I'm super nerdy.
I need to know if I'm not the only one, or what was your best purchase? For those of y'all who are watching, we still got a lot of people on the call. What was your best purchase for Black Friday / Cyber Monday over this past weekend? I need to hear.
It doesn't have to be real estate related. It can be a bathroom vanity if it need be, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And while we're doing that, would you pull this next comment up from Tanya? I saw over there.
Yes. Let me see here.
Tanya, I've got an idea for you. So I hope you're still on here. Listen, you're listing. If your husband has a channel that has that many people and he does a consistent video every Wednesday, why don't you have him do his next video from your listing next week? Like, you don't have to say anything about the house. I'm sure it's him. I have no idea what his channel is, but like, he's not going to be doing a house tour. Just have him sit in the living room and do his video from your listing. That's it. That's a way to get potentially 87,000 eyes on it.
That's crazy. That is a lot of subscribers. That's pretty cool.
I know.
Yeah, I would definitely, I mean, if he's willing to do that, you know, and if it won't like affect his channel negatively, which I don't know what that content at all is, but yeah, if there's some way to incorporate it into your business, like that'd be so cool if, you know, if y'all can kind of do this thing together, right? And, you know, maybe start your own channel at some point, but like, you know, kind of see if he can have you tag on to his for a little bit. So I love it. Let's see. Sorry. Yeah. Sunshine and Callahan says, what's the calendar name on AppSumo? Sounded like I said Tidy Cow. No, that's just because I've got allergies right now. It's actually Tidy Cal, C-A-L, Tidy Cow.
I do like Tidy Cow. That sounds
Tidy cool. Cow. That would be a good one though. That'd be a funny one. Let's see. Mathis purchased the Ryan Serhant course. Ooh, interesting. I'd be curious to know how that is. We actually, Blake and I just launched a course, shameless plug, right? And we actually still have it on Black Friday special right now. Just we do. And so if you guys want to, you can still head over to agentflightacademy.com and check out our course. We've actually had already quite a few people, you know, who've completed the course and have given us their feedback, and they've loved it. So it is jam-packed. Blake and I spent a lot of time making it. It wasn't something we just took like a bunch of videos and packed them together. We specifically set out, put a framework for the course, created each video specifically for that particular topic, and then we created downloadable resources, 38 of them to be exact, And we threw those into the course that you get to download as well. So buyer presentation, listing presentation, all sorts of different templates and scripts. And
even before you get to that phase, we even go down like branding. So for some of you guys who are asking about branding and rebranding, we go all into, how to brand yourself, how to organize from the start, like how you should set up your business, things to get organized from the micro all the way down to the up to the macro. Like we go into every aspect of starting your business, building your business, growing your business, and fine tuning it into a program that we're calling Flight 101. And we're looking to build more flights in the future because we've had some really good success from it. So we're excited to see and help people. And I think kind of piggybacking off of some of the coaching aspects earlier, you have to find a coach that really supports you and helps you in a different way. And if you can't find a coach in that price point, search for somebody that maybe does like group coaching. And so like Kyle and I are going to be doing some group coaching here in the future through Agent Flight Academy. And we're going to be offering group coaching at a very reasonable price monthly. And so that's a way for you guys to get coaching on the regular and kind of get some help at a, I would say, a very reasonable rate.
Yeah. Yep, agreed. Nate says the Sirhan course was not helpful for him at all. So I don't know. I don't know. Interesting. Just figure out that.
I'm actually shocked to hear that because like I read his audiobook, I listened to his audiobook, and it was really helpful. So that surprises me a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. Interesting.
Nate, go check out Agent Flight Academy and give us your feedback, man.
Oh, nice. Yeah, and he got my YouTube course, working through it. Nice, very cool. If you got any, feedback, or if you need any specific help, reach out to me. I'm happy to, give you some feedback on your channel if you've got it up and running or whatnot. Mathis, link to that ours is now, it's scrolling at the bottom. Just go to agentflightacademy.com.
That's right.
And it is down there for purchase at $97. It's such a good price. I mean, like I said, we know how much work. I mean, we spent literally probably almost every day for 2 months.
We were both like waking up at 4:30 in the morning and recording content, creating content, writing things, coming up with new ideas. And then we would come up with a new idea and be like, whoa, we got to backtrack and redo this because like this resource is way too good. So like ultimately, ending shameless plug here is like, we wanted to make sure that nobody else had the frustrations of either getting started in real estate or transitioning to real estate. So we packaged together 10 different lessons in there that would help somebody fast track their pathway to success in real estate.
Yeah. Tanya says, I don't know what a doubly do is. Is that the description? Put a link to that in the description for us. I definitely can put it in the description, but I don't know how to put it in the doubly do. Do you know what that is, Blake?
Doubly do?
Doubly do. Is that like an actual word that I'm like missing out on?
I'm gonna Google doubly do real quick. Hopefully maybe that's a typo.
Maybe it's a typo. All right. But yes, the link is at the bottom, agentflightacademy.com. There you go. Cool.
Doubly do.
I feel like I've maybe heard that word like in like a different, I don't know what it is though.
Nope, I don't see anything coming up. So Tanya, right. hit us back. We don't know what doubly. It's a reference.
It's a reference to Wheezy Waiter. Gotta watch Wheezy Waiter, and yes, it was partially a typo.
Sorry, didn't mean to call you out there.
I love it. Awesome. All right. Cool. What else? I mean, yeah. What else do we need to talk about for business planning? Do we miss anything? Is there just any general like thoughts going into next year? I mean,
I would say we definitely missed something. So we talked about like number 1, planning, number 2, taking action, vision boards and writing goals down, coaching, education. Those are all great things. I think one of the things we did not talk about that I absolutely have to make sure we hit on is tracking yourself. Like you have to, when you write goals or you make vision boards, you have to put an end date on these things, right? So like, if you don't know my story, I'm gonna take a quick tangent and tell you that I used to be a teacher for about 10 years. And like, when we write goals for students for education, like they have to be able to hit it by the end of that school year. So like, if you are writing a goal for yourself, you can't just say, I'm gonna sell 10 houses, right? So like, you need to say, I'm gonna sell 10 houses by December 1st or whatever it might be. But like, you have to find a way to measure it. And then you have to find a way to track it, right? So you have to track your goals all the way through. And then you can't just look back at the end of the year and be like, well, I totally missed the mark there. I didn't sell 20 houses. You've got to like get on the metaphorical scale every week, every month, and check back on your goals. Hey, what's up, Adam? Teacher, way to go, man. Nice. Like you have to really look at yourself. So like do a lot of self-reflection on your tracking and make sure that you're holding yourself accountable. So like reflect, I think, is the ultimate thing I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah, no, great point. Nate's asking about daily structures and how to plan. I think, when it comes to like a daily structure and planning, I think one of the best things you can do is try and keep things simple. And so like for me, one of the things that, I've used in the past, I still kind of use like a version of it today. Is something called the Core Greatness Tracker, Nate. So if you've not heard of that, you can just Google Core, CORE, Greatness Tracker. And Core is actually a coaching company. So like, Nate, you could even look further into the Core coaching company as, as an option if you're looking for something like right away. But but basically what the greatness tracker is you identify the things that move the needle the most in your business to get you more buyers and seller clients, and you just try to track them on a daily basis, Monday through Friday, and then a Saturday Sunday column. But here, let me pull this up. It'll make more sense if I can show
it. While you're pulling that up, is it just me or is Nate asking like a bunch of questions and like almost all of the things that he's asking are answered in Agent Flight Academy?
Yeah. Good. Yes, absolutely.
I feel like he's like setting us up to say these things, and I'm like, how is this possible?
I am the worst at like trying to like plug my own stuff. Like I
don't know. I don't mean this as a shameless plug. I just mean like how
I could certainly. Yeah, I mean, like all of this stuff we're talking about, Nate, is in Agent Flight Academy. Yeah, we go into way more detail about this stuff. So definitely
I'm trying to find the greatness tracker from Agent Flight Academy that you might be able to pull up. So
yeah, we've got something very similar. Yeah, exactly. So, but here, I'm gonna add this to the stream. This is the I gotta make this bigger. Let's see here. So basically what you're doing here is you come up with, like I identified that like every week I wanted to have 15 face-to-face appointments. Like that would move the needle in my business, right? If I'm sitting down for coffee, if I'm sitting down I classify a Zoom call as face-to-face. Like, that's just part of me. You may decide like it's got to be belly to belly, but face-to-face, I include Zoom calls. Break bread. Now that's where I actually physically need to be with somebody, right? Having a coffee, having a lunch, having dinner, drinks, whatever. Great phone calls. So 60 great phone calls a week. And that's not just like I made the phone call. That's actually I had a conversation with them. So like not just like, you call them, but you actually connect and talk to them. And it could be with leads, referral partners, past clients, current clients, all that good stuff.
Yeah. Nate, can I give you just a quick little snippet on daily structures? You got to put the thing in there that you don't want to do the most. And for a lot of people, that's lead generation, right? Yep. And I like to refer to lead generation as brushing your teeth, because like it's something that you have to do every day. Otherwise you will get a cavity. And like, if you don't do it, you're going to pay the price when you're getting a cap or getting it filled in, right? And you have to brush your teeth daily with your lead generation. So plug that in first and put it in your most productive time. So like for me, that's 9 to 11 a.m. So like if you ask me what I'm doing on December 16th, guess what? I'm going to tell you, I know that I'm doing lead generation from 9 to 11. So like put it in there, man. Brush the teeth.
Yep. I love that analogy. It is exactly like that. Brushing your teeth. So, yep. But yeah, so then there you go. Put the things that you don't maybe want to do on your calendar. Time block is another one, that you can do. Like that's another form of, obviously like if you want to do your greatness tracker, like set up some time to where it's like, if I know I'm going to make 60 great phone calls, well, I got to have time blocks on my calendar to set up time to be able to do that. And then same thing, like, I set aside times for like open blocks for appointments, like for, whether it's for coffee, that way, when I do get somebody that's like, yeah, I'd love to grab coffee. Cool. Well, I've got this time and this time available because it's already on my calendar. Like it's already an open block. And then I just fill the block in once somebody said they want
to double down on what Kyle's saying. I actually, I went one past Kyle. I'm going to one up you here, Kyle. Sorry.
Oh man, the one upper.
I made a a block on my Calendly to like for people to schedule coffee with me. Like I have a meeting that's called Coffee Talk, and like of course it's a play on on Saturday Night Live, like Coffee Talk, but I have a meeting set up for people who want to do that. So
That's
if
awesome.
you don't have Calendly, check it out.
Nice.
Yeah, Nate is just filling it in here, man. I'm seeing some of these things, dude. Averaging 80 calls a day,
Yep.
15 to 20 conversations. Dude,
Yep.
way to go. Like if I'm in, I mean, just for real, like way to go. Way to crush it, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. Still have time and feel like I'm being like, man, and that's the crazy thing, it, you can do a lot in a given day, but so many times, agents will make excuses about like why they can't do something or why, but at the end of the day, like when you have that mindset, like you do, Nate, where it's just like, I've got to keep busy. I got to keep doing more and more and more. Dude, start a YouTube channel, Nate. Like if you don't already have one, I mean, I haven't heard you say that you do, but you're doing a lot of calls and it sounds like you're doing a lot of the prospecting side of the business. The one thing that I'll say, maybe you somehow incorporate this for next year is I feel like you get really dangerous when you have both a prospecting side of your business and an attraction side of your business, right? So like where you can both outbound prospect for clients, but then you also have something working in the background that's going to attract clients to you, right?
Yep.
That could be a YouTube channel, it could be a blog, it could be whatever, your branding, it could be affiliates or like, and I say affiliates more like referral partners, like people that are bringing you business, but something that you're building that's going to attract you business while you sleep, basically. Because I mean, yeah, it's great you're doing all of this, but I will tell you, I mean, 80 phone calls a day, that's going to wear on anybody.
It's gonna
Sometimes you
burn
might
you.
get
Yep, it's
burnout,
gonna
right?
burn you.
You might get sick, there's a lot of things that could happen, right? And so building up another side of the business that can, stand alone, I think is important. And if you're already doing things where you're like, I've got free time now, start, tackling that stuff. Right. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I love it. I love the
Nate, you
comments.
should reach out to both of us if you haven't already, man. Send us a message. I want to learn a little bit more about your story.
Yeah. Yeah. Very cool. Well, guys, appreciate everybody's time here today. I am going to go and find Rocky. He's somewhere running around my room now. I have no clue where. And then I'm going to go get some lunch. And so I
Yeah.
appreciate you, Blake, for jumping on this call. I appreciate everybody for tuning in and for a lot of the great discussion today.
Yeah. Thanks for the participation, everybody.
Yep, we will be back next week, right, Blake? You going to be around next week? You going to be able to come back?
I will be here if I'm not kicked off the program. Then I will be here.
What do you guys think? Should we have Blake back? I think Blake's pretty good. I think we should have Blake back.
I'm at least a good cause for a joke here and there.
That's
especially
right.
A good dad joke.
Yeah. And we'll have my new branding. We won't be any more orange on
No more
this
orange.
call next week. So this will be the last time you see the orange. But well, cool. Well, everyone have a great week, and we'll see you. It'll be December the next time we see everybody. So we'll see you in December. Have a good one, guys. Thanks again, Blake. Bye-bye.
Bye.